Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make meatless tofurkey, broccoli, and cheddar pockets. These are a pretty tasty snack or lunch if you want to have. However, I like making home versions of store-bought items, so I'm going to be showing you how to make these, and let's get into the video. To a bowl, add 1 cup of warm water, 1 package of active dry yeast, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and stir until it's combined. Next, you're going to cut up 1 head of broccoli, or about 2 cups of broccoli florets. Steam those until they're pretty much bright green. And then you're going to put them in a bowl of cold water. Try not to drop the steamer in the water. For the cheese sauce, I use the forks over knives recipe. It's one of my favorites. This calls for either a small onion or half of a large onion. I don't cook with a lot of oil, so I just steam them in some water until they're nice and caramelized, like this. After that, you're going to roughly chop up 1 red bell pepper. And once that's finished, you're going to just add everything to your blender. To that, I add 1 tablespoon of cashews, 1 tablespoon tahini, a cup of nutritional yeast. I'm using Bragg's here. And then you just blend it until it's well combined. For the chicken, I'm using Yves veggie chicken tenders. As you can see, they're vegan. I roughly chop those up, and then I just add it to my bowl of broccoli after I drain it. To that, I'm only adding half the no cheese mixture because I'm only making 2, but normally this is good for a batch of 4. At this point, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, you're going to take the mixture that you've set aside and you're going to start adding flour a little bit at a time. Stirring it in just to make sure that any lumps or anything slowly start to disintegrate. Once your mixture starts to come together like this, and pull away from the sides of the bowl, and you realize that you can't actually mix it anymore inside the bowl, I tend to just take it out onto a well-floured surface and start to knead it on there. Unfortunately, I didn't have all-purpose flour, which is what I usually use for this. I was using whole wheat flour, and turns out whole wheat flour is a lot stickier than all-purpose flour. So I struggled for a bit until I finally managed to get it to a pretty decent consistency by continuously adding flour and washing my hands and kneading it until it pretty much formed a solid dough. Then I just rolled it into a ball out of frame. I also realized too late that I hadn't used the oil to actually put in the dough mixture, so I just coated the bowl and the top of the dough with it. Then you just use a tea towel, cover, set aside until your dough has doubled in size. While you wait for your dough to double in size, you can always take your broccoli stems and feed it to your doggies, like I did. My dogs actually love vegetables, so they took full advantage of this. Now that the dough has risen, it's time to cut it into 4 equal parts. Like I said, this mixture can make 4 pockets. I'm only making 2 here, so I actually just rolled them all into balls and then put 2 away in the fridge for another day. They're good for about 2 days in the fridge, and then you can freeze them. I've never actually done that, but I know that you can freeze dough for a while. After that, I just floured my counter again so that I could roll out the dough into as best of a circle as I possibly could. I mean, this doesn't have to be precise, it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, it was sticking to the rolling pin. I basically kept removing it and flattening it until I got the circle that I wanted. Now you're going to start adding the mixture to your dough. Just put it in the middle as best as you can. Fill it up as much as you want. Dough's pretty flexible, but you don't want to overfill it. As you will see at the end, I overstuffed one of mine and it ended up breaking and some of the mixture came out. Still, it was alright. It tasted great and I had a pretty good dough consistency regardless. You're going to want to fold over one half into the other. You're going to start wanting to roll the edges to make sure that there's no seam. To reinforce that, just push a fork down on the edge. It also makes a nice little pattern. Then you're going to carefully put these onto your baking sheet. I used parchment paper here. I've also used aluminum foil in the past. I personally prefer using parchment paper, but you can use either. And at the end here, you can hear the lovely crunching sound of the dough up top, and so delicious. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.